Hello everybody. We may be in a new year, but the madness of the last 12 months isn't going anywhere fast. When it rains, it pours. One thing I've noticed in the second lockdown we currently find ourselves residing in is that a lot of people are bending the rules a wee bit. It almost doesn't feel like the lockdown of March last year. It's almost like business as usual at this point. Now, why do we think that is? Let's delve in, shall we? Crowded beaches, parks, queues for takeaway food, popular walkways all congested, all happening at a time where the entire UK is supposedly under the tightest COVID restrictions. Many of us continue to liberally interpret the government's stay-at-home message. Myself included. I'd be totally lying if I said that I haven't fractured the occasional guideline here and there. Now, there's the obvious factor of crisis fatigue, which has had a hand in it. When all you hear is continuous bad news week after week, you begin to accept it as the norm, and it's looking increasingly likely that we're going to be facing a full year of these restrictions. And with humans being social by nature, it was only a matter of time before we started becoming more emboldened. However, the biggest contributing factor towards people bending the rules as much as they can is without a doubt the breakdown and complete lack of trust in our government and their messages. Whenever new restrictions are put in place, people are thinking along the lines more like, how can I get around these new rules rather than just simply complying? Experts are calling this the Cummings effect. When the Prime Minister's most senior aide travels 264 miles to Durham with his sick wife and child, literally breaking all the rules, and then faces no reprimand, public or otherwise, we're going to be more than a little less trusting, aren't we? You simply cannot say that we're doing this to protect and support the NHS, then not give nurses a wage rise. Build the Nightingale hospitals, then not admit a single patient to them. Or advise folk not to go to the pubs and then subsidise them to go to the pubs. These flip-flops on the rules don't only confuse and divide us, they show a complete lack of competence and self-assurance within our government. They keep moving the goalposts. Most importantly, they're expecting us to abide by laws and rules and regulations that they themselves are not willing to follow. These mixed messages were inevitably going to lead to us finding ways to circumvent the rules. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. And on top of that, when we start looking outside and we start seeing other countries with more effective measures and scenes of normality starting to claw back into the lives of their populace, we lose faith in all the failing measures that we have here in our own country. England, Northern Ireland, Scotland and Wales all have their own separate and different rules and regulations. So that's already unhelpful and inconsistent. United Kingdom, eh? And it creates a platform for challenge. Why are we doing this, but they're doing that? The "we are all in this together" sentiment and the entire tier system as a whole is completely destroyed by this. Now, we could spend all day discussing all the various U-turns that the government's made on certain rules and restrictions, but the fact that there's so many of them just proves that they've lost all credibility. Even if they release a statement tomorrow where they just hold their hands up and say, yeah, we fucked up a lot, we're dumb as fuck, and we're sorry. Even that level of transparency would not cut it. Like, it's going to take a lot to rebuild this mess. Can they do it? My guess is
absolutely fucking not.
Right, so what else has been happening? Celtic Football Club have confirmed that 13 first team players and management staff have to self-isolate for 13 days after Christopher Julian has tested positive for COVID upon their return from their training camp in Dubai. Ah, Celtic. What a glorious shambles it has been. Right, so first of all, was this warm weather camp really necessary? No other football club in the world is doing this. Not especially a club who had their eyes set on their 10th consecutive domestic league title and they're currently trailing their bitter rivals by 20 odd points in the league. The same bitter rivals who they failed to defeat 2 weeks ago at Ibrox. The same bitter rivals who defeated them at Ibrox 2 weeks ago without even registering a single shot on target. Well, then you might just argue that they actually did in fact need this training camp after all, because whatever they're producing on the park clearly isn't working. Well, you might think that until you see images of manager Neil Lennon and club captain Scotty Brown chilling by the pool with a couple of pints. Fuck's sake. Warm weather training. Also, let's not forget the Bolly fiasco at the start of the season. Guy goes to Spain, doesn't quarantine after, doesn't tell anyone, plays against Kilmarnock, Celtic are raging, and they punt him out on loan. Now I feel like he's completely vindicated after Celtic went to Dubai. It's just so hypocritical. So hypocritical. I'll tell you what, right? See, if I was a Celtic fan, I'd be fucking fuming. The club has to explain themselves. They have to. They won't though. They don't like saying sorry. But Celtic fans, at least you got a point at home against my beloved Hibs. Kevin Nisbet, you absolute fucking shagger. The most enlightening thing about that match was Gavin Strachan, a man who looks like COVID with eyes. Equally hilarious are all these Rangers fans calling it the banter years. Listen, right, until Celtic are liquidated and then relegated to the lowest tier of Scottish football, I wouldn't get too excited. Now, I can't sit here and slag off Celtic without mentioning the other ugly sister. They are both two sides of the same soap-dodging coin to me. On the Hibs. In slightly related news, all Scottish lower leagues and Scottish Cup matches have been postponed for 3 weeks due to fears over rising coronavirus cases in the country. Now this ties into what I was saying earlier. If the virus is this dangerous, if it's this contagious, and we're all being told to stay at home, and they're all out there playing football, which last I checked is a contact sport, just cancel it. Have no football. Either null and void the league, or even better, just award it to Celtic and keep Hearts in the Championship for another season. That would be banter, eh? I'm only joking, Hearts. I miss yous. I miss the derbies. I miss getting beat. Right, that's enough about Scottish football. As riveting as a subject as it is. Well, alright, one more clip.
He's fucking going about the game with fucking wireless headphones in his ear, listening to fucking UB40 or something like that. Absolutely fucking pitch.
To be fair, the boy's got a point. Canada considers adding the Proud Boys to their terrorist list alongside the likes of ISIS and Al-Qaeda, as if there really needs to be a discussion here. Let's look at terrorism by definition. The unlawful use of violence and intimidation, especially against civilians in the pursuit of political aims. Now, let's look at the Proud Boys, a group of white supremacists, anti-Semitics, Islamophobes and misogynists who unlawfully intimidate civilians for political aims. It's pretty cut and dry if you ask me. They're also doing their utmost best to ruin Fred Perry, which is just not fucking on. A driver travelling to Holland from the UK had his ham sandwiches confiscated by Dutch border patrol. They said they were prohibited due to Brexit. I told you Brexit was a bad idea. Nobody listened. Can't even take a piece on holiday anymore. That's it. The world can officially bite my shite. The driver apparently asked if he could have the bread. And the border guard said, nah, you couldn't have it. You mean Dutch bastards. Apparently the officer smirked at him and said, sorry sir, welcome to the Brexit. I'm not doing a Dutch accent, I can't do them, and it would just be probably a bit racist. Imagine being a fully grown man and having your packed lunch taken off you by another fully grown man, and everyone's just okay with it. The funniest thing about this whole thing is, right, you normally have a hard time getting things out of Holland. Oh, the world has gone truly, truly mad. And finally, a naked... I can't even read this. I can't even say this, it's so funny. Oh, a naked fugitive was... Oh man, this is just... Alright, do this together, come on. A naked fugitive was rescued from a tree in a crocodile habitat by fishermen. 2 fishermen found the man who was covered in mud and cut up a tree in Darwin, Australia. Obviously Australia. Apparently he'd made a nest up there and he was living off snails for 4 days. What? I believe they call it escargot in France. And apparently it's a delicacy. I say it's disgusting and also not vegan. It's a big no-no. Roll the footage.
We got water for you, bro. Yeah. Bro, what have you been doing? Where have you been?
I've been eating snails and...
I'll call you an ambulance, eh? We'll get you an ambulance, we'll chuck these pots out.
Australia, never stop being you, you big, barmy, beautiful bastard of a country. Thank you all lovely people once again for watching. I hope you have the best week that you possibly can out there. And just remember, if it's not going too well, you could always be this guy.
Why didn't I think of that?
Please hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and if you have done, I love you. Bye for now.